Good evening, Speed Gaming 2, and welcome to this Week 1 match in the late ALTTPR League. We have a Lake Hylia division match between zeldafan18657, representing the Longshots, and oase28, representing 2Pearl2 Furious. My name is Mind of Me, and I'm joined on commentary today by Lumaga. Lumaga, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. This week one has been great to watch. It's been great that the league has started, and I think it's just going to get crazier as the weeks go on. We're starting week one with an open 7-7, and each match, each week after this is going to have a little bit more variation to it.
Yeah, the twists and turns and barriers for play are going to increase week after week. Looks like we've got competing Link sprites here today. We're both running with, I can't quite remember what it is. Is it...
Is that Modern Link?
I think it's Modern Link. That's going to be a fun thing. As you can see by the 3 beside 2Pearl2 Furious' name, they did take the first win this week, and we are off.
Yeah, looks like both are going to start at Link's house and head straight to Uncle. It's a very safe route. You could wind up with a weapon and be able to head down towards Escape, or find some bombs and be all set for Kakariko. So
neither of them taking up the sign for the quick guard kill to set up the tier 1 tree fall. They might be doing that with the bombs down here, with the guards down here in the... But just money down here in the sewer, but they are taking up the pots to at least grab some magic. And continue the route with the Sanctuary start, where we get a weapon in the form of the hammer.
now that early hammer is good because you don't have a weapon just yet, and won't open up a whole lot for you early game, but at least you don't have to hunt for it mid game.
Exactly. It means that you can save some of your rupees. You don't need to buy as many bombs to kill enemies in, for instance, Mini Moldworm Cave. It incentivizes the escape, which is also in logic right from the beginning with bombs. But it's nice to have a permanent, repeatable weapon.
Alright, quick check of the Lost Woods area will first give us a full heart container in the mushroom spot. And this early on, you're going to pick up as many full hearts as you can. Later on, you'll probably not worry about it so much. Second items will be just arrows. Are those hard enough to get to be effective with them?
Exactly. Link is much more of a swinger than a stabber. Neither of the runners running up to go and check the crabs, but if you take a look at the bottom of Oase's screen, you would see some furious mashing back and forth of the L and R buttons. Oase is a prominent NMG runner, and I believe he's setting up some pumping straps.
Yeah, Oase does have a really good NMG time. I think, gosh, it's got to be in the top 30 or 40. I'm not too sure about Zelda fans' history, either with NMG or Rando, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And we find a hookshot down in Blind's hut.
And the flute. That's a really nice thing to find in Kakariko very early. The earlier you can find it, the more value it has.
Absolutely. The only thing that could make this better is finding an early, and you've got most of your Kakariko checks.
Bottle and powder. With that hammer, we could check Magic Bat, but we will see what else there is in there. Oase lucking out with some bombs in the well.
Yeah, bombs and quite a bit of money and some blue mail, too. So they didn't have bombs when they first went to Blind's hut. In a Sphere 1 check, you're going to want to go back and check that. It could be very bad if you abandon something like that early.
Exactly. And luckily you're not too far from it. It's just a few steps over. Sometimes if you've had to walk all the way back down to the village to buy bombs from the shop or farm from the bombable hut, you might forget it, but this early, definitely not. And it is indeed a bottle there.
Well, that's great. So we'll see Sick Kid early on, and maybe we'll see Powder in the Chicken Hut or on Sick Kid, and then you've got every Kakariko check like we mentioned.
That's a really good feel. I won't need to come back here until Dark World access. Speaking of, we now have 2 bits of it with that glove from the bottle vendor. Glove and hook shot really incentivizes a sequence break up Death Mountain, especially with that hammer, too. We can get all the way to Tower of Hera.
Not so much a sequence break if we have the flute. So flute is your logical access.
That is true. I was thinking about rescuing the old man. That would be the sequence break.
Yes. But with the hookshot and the hammer, you could get all the way to Hera. We haven't seen a map check. We don't know if that's crystal yet or a pendant.
We get a bow as well. So that's 2 Light World dungeons potentially clearable. I'm not sure if either of our runners know a Hera pot for Hera, but we do have 3 crystals in the Light World with a red pendant on Desert Palace. Or red crystal on Desert Palace. Alright,
so 2 crystals, very early accessible as you mentioned. So as long as you know your dark rooms and there's not a fire-locked big key in Hera, you've got a pretty good start.
And with the flute having, fast movement, I wonder if we might see a delay of the usual South Shore checks.
Just some money up on the library, so it'll be the last time we see that one.
Yeah, unless we are really desperate for rupees, nobody going to be grabbing that. OACC in the heart on the race game says no to that. Where is he going to flute to?
Well, to South Shore. So, as our tracker Philion pointing out, a good start might be to go EP to Sahasrara. That bow, as long as you know your dark room. And who knows? Sahasrara may have a lamp himself.
Exactly. With that bow, all 6 items in the eastern area are available, even though the 2 or more in eastern may be out of logic because of lack of the lamp. It looks like OAC wants to be thorough, is going to complete the South Shore checks. I don't think we'll see a fake flipper here, even though Zora is in logic. Without the Moon Pearl, it would mean that you're not able to access the Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, quite a few more checks, which you could give priority to at this point, than sequence breaking into the waterfall. So Mini Moldorm giving us 1 1/4 hearts here. Some more bombs. Add another piece of heart to that and some money. So not all that great of a find, but we'll take a full heart container whenever we get one.
OAC doing his map check, just confirming. And yeah, we're going to continue.
Save it a bit of time.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to...
8 will save you maybe a screen and a half.
And you get to avoid these dangerous crabs. Although now that they're on blue mail, they're not quite as hazardous. When you're doing this on green mail and and 3 hearts, it can be a little terrifying.
Ice Rod Cave with a blue item, not an ice rod, but a boomerang.
know if OAC knows or ZeldaFan knows the Ancilla setup for splash deletion. They almost probably wish that was the red boomerang, although I think you can do it with bow and bombs.
You can definitely do it with the red boomerang. I mean, yes, bow and bombs is a setup for at least 2 or 3 spots. I think it's easier in maybe one of them. But we are getting that Eastern play from OAC. Well, ZeldaFan is going to head back over to Ice Rod Cave, just to clear out a few things before moving on. Did not go to Sahasrara first, so going straight for that crystal.
You know what, it's not too bad to go and check Sahasrara after Eastern. I think it's about the same amount of... It's probably a little bit quicker, since when you're fluting to 5, you'd be backtracking if you check Sahasrara first.
That's true, and there's not a whole lot to gain if you know you're going to head to Eastern regardless.
And we are getting our first divergence of the seed. ZeldaFan is fluting to the mountain, going to rescue the old man. This will be the one item on Death Mountain that is out of logic.
Now, as straightforward as the Old Man Dark Room is, without a sword or maybe the Cane of Samaria block to guide you, it is tricky. You don't want to fall into that hole just before rescuing the old man.
Yeah, you can see ZeldaFan furiously flinging the hookshot back and forth, trying to find the walls. I think that he did take a fall in the dark there. I saw a heart missing and had to restart. And he's going to say, no, no thanks. There's our second item in Eastern, 3-pack of bombs. I'm a little surprised OAC missed the Stealthos quick kill setup.
Yeah, for someone of his caliber, that's almost got to be muscle memory. But such is the game. Sometimes you mess up a screen every now and then. But this Eastern we know is going to be out of logic anyway. But the big key is going to be in its vanilla chest, and that third item is going to either be in the big chest or on Armos himself. Okay,
ZeldaFan going back to the old man rescue. They obviously feel more comfortable going from this direction. And that's fair. If you're used to only rescuing the old man from the Death Mountain ascent versus the actual rescue cave, it's perfectly reasonable to start from Sanctuary and do it this way if you don't want to orphan that check.
And OAC gotta watch his health, trying to get that button without freeing the anti-fairies, but take some damage to do it. Luckily gets away with the 1.5 hearts out of that room.
And yet ZeldaFan proving that they felt much more comfortable rescuing the old man in the ascent. Only 10 arrows from the old man, so it could have been perfectly reasonable to let that be.
Well, on the plus side, he does get the safe spot, and having the flute, that really is the place that is the best to start from. It's the it's the quickest way to get a full health on a start from the light world, and then you can flute to wherever you need to go.
Only a compass in the big chest of Eastern, so our last item is on the Armos Knights.
And I always like to use the strat that OAC did. Hit the Igor when it's still, and then lure it out so that you can see the arrow follow you in the dark.
Yeah, that's a really nice strat to know about. Seem to having a little bit of issues trying to find the pot, or else the other Igor is blocking him, and he's going to be using up that fairy.
All right, and Zeldafan has made his way towards Paradox Cave. 7 items in here. And then Spiral Cave after that, maybe go to Hera, but gonna see what the first 2 on the bottom, or rather the top of Paradox Cave, are gonna be. Wow, our Titan's Mitt.
That's a nice find. Again, 100% in logic. If we find a Moon Pearl up here, then we'll be able to check a lot of Dark Death Mountain as well.
Wait, Zeldafan.
Oh no, you want to check those other 5 items.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, well, let's hope for his sake it's, you know, arrows and bombs. We'll go with that for now. Until we're proven otherwise.
I have a feeling that Oase must be having a little bit of an off night. Again, you know, he's got a 125 in NMG, which is an incredibly good time. You know, like, this is the top 30 of runners.
Yeah, and for Armos to get away from you, there's a couple of quick kill setups, and didn't quite get it, but finishes out with a hammer to take the crystal at just shy of 15 minutes. And chat pointing out, we did see the bottom tip of the flippers up on Floating Island.
We potentially could have a flipperless seed. We do know that there's going to be 3 pendants in the Dark World. If 2 of them are Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, no need for flippers this seed. Also a little surprised Zeldafan didn't make the trip over to Hera.
Alright, not too much from the back of Sahasrarla's closet. Take out the flute, and might be on his way back up to Death Mountain himself, following Zeldafan.
There's a comment in chat that skipping Hera is reasonable with no fire, especially if you don't know Hera pot. But there's no reason that your progression can't be up there. Right now, Titan's Mitts don't give us anything else, but we do get the information that Turtle Rock is our green pendant.
Alright, so chances are we may not have to find that ice rod and fire rod too late in the seed. Fire rod will probably show up, but ice rod may be able to ignore it.
That's a nice find. One less item that you have to look for go mode is a good feeling. Zeldafan is going to follow in Oase's footsteps into Eastern. And I imagine Oase will give us a look at the other 5 items in Paradox Cave and potentially go over to Hera.
At the minimum, I would just suspect Paradox Cave. As we mentioned, you know, Hera, you may not want to do unless you find a fire source, but let's see what's up in the other part of Paradox Cave.
Does get us Titan's Mitts, which, as we said, don't actually open up anything for us yet. The mirror or a Moon Pearl would, Moon Pearl would obviously then give us full Dark World access. Mirror would give us access to Desert, as well as Checkerboard Cave.
Well, Berna, some money. Oh, and the Moon Pearl.
Oh no. Oh.
So there's Dark World access.
I wonder if Zeldafan usually enters Paradox Cave from that so-called middle entrance and mirrors through the block. So he always checks the 5 first rather than the 2.
It could be it. I have skipped Paradox Cave accidentally myself, and it had a required item. It's something that you just kind of automatically think you've done because you've gone through Paradox. You play so much rando. Some seeds bleed together, and you just skip it. But
Yeah.
we'll see if Zeldafan does make his way back up there once he runs out of logic.
I mean, for items to skip, the Moon Pearl is actually one of the better ones because it locks out so much. Ooh, and there's a nice mirror right there in Tower of Hera. Zeldafan is gonna have to come back to Tower of Hera, or come back to Paradox Cave sooner rather than later. He's got escape that he could check. And we are fire locked in Tower of Hera, and Oase is choosing not to Hera pot. That's a gamble a lot of runners would actually make, is once you found one item in Tower of Hera, go ahead and Hera pot if you're able to, because odds are that second item is not going to be in the big chest.
Yeah, you've got a few items plus one on the boss, and yeah, your chances of having it in that exact spot are fairly slim. But you are right that Zeldafan is going to have to make his way to Tower of Hera. That being in logic, that is a logical mirror, which is a great find to have. But as he passes by Paradox Cave, we'll see if he goes back in there. And gonna have to be a little careful on Zeldafan's side. One heart. Let's see if he gets the safety fairies through the pot.
I believe he still has his
As
bottle
well.
fairy as well.
That's true. Does have the fairy in a bottle.
All right, Oase, our first one into the Dark World on Dark Death Mountain. Looks like he's going to go and check Super Bunny first before giving us our full map check to find out where our other 5, 6, and 2 pendants are.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most dense locations here. You've got Super Bunny, Hookshot Cave, there's the floating island, and you get some information. You get to know what your Turtle Rock medallion requirement is going to be.
Yep, if we need to go in there at all. And Zeldafan taking a death in that dark room does have that safety fairy that we got earlier. The one good thing for Zeldafan is, again, he's going to be quite, railroaded after this. He knows that this backup EP is out of logic. It's not going to have his progression. And with our map check, we find that Pod and Ice Palace are our other pendants, with Meyer being the other 5, 6.
Yeah, so having Ice Palace and Pod be your pendants. Ice Palace is a long and thin as far as dungeon items go. As far as the items in the chests go. There's only 3 of them. But Pod, a lot of runners will go into there, even if it's a pendant, a good 5 items in that dungeon.
Okay, Zeldafan, in order to go to Hera, had to go through Paradox Cave anyway, and he's skipping right past it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good. We'll get that mirror out of Tower of Hera, which would mean that the only thing opened up for him would be Checkerboard Cave and Desert.
Well, with the mirror, the flippers, the hammer, and the hookshot, we've also got access to Swamp Palace on Oasis' side.
In what world do you clear Swamp Palace as your first Dark World dungeon? Because we can't clear Skull Woods, we don't have a fire rod or a sword. Thieves Town isn't ideal without a sword. Can't clear Mire. It is 6 items.
That's it.
So I think
you go there.
It's crazy, but yeah, you do Swamp Palace first.
Oh, we get 2 good items. You get the red mail and a lamp in the Mire Shed. So goodbye, dark rooms.
Goodbye Dark Rooms, that's our fire source for Hera. And potentially also to clear desert, if it's not boost locked. Okay, Zeldafan is looking at his map. He is going to go clear escape. This is one of the other dense items that they have left. He also does have Zora. He knows the other flipper checks will not be in logic because he saw flippers on Floating Island. And of course, there is Agina.
Well, there is Agina, but we do need a sword and maybe a Master Sword and a cape to get through. Sword being on the torch, desert torch. So this is not a boots locked dungeon.
Aganon, not Agadim.
Oh, yes. Agina.
That happens all the time.
Yes.
So it does look unfortunate that Zeldafan appears to forgot the 5 caves in Paradox, the 5 items in Paradox, but we'll be railroaded back to rechecking things soon enough.
Mm-hmm. And there's our second item in Desert Palace, so just a quick mirror to the start. And not going to hit the Landless?
That is a little curious, or else is going to mirror... Okay. I mean, I think it's a little quicker just to walk on the overworld. Mirror transitions do cost you a couple of frames.
Sure. Normally I wouldn't argue with a runner with such a great NMG time, but yeah, they do cost, a few seconds each.
But especially Desert being a 5-6 crystal, what would be really crazy is if we find a vanilla cane and get our other 5-6 crystal in Mire, because we've got everything else we could need to clear it. I mean, Bow and Hammer Vitreous is awful, but it's totally in logic and doable as long as we find that cane of Samaria.
Absolutely, that could put you... that would be even worse than going to Swamp as your first Dark Dungeon, as you mentioned. Going and having to kill Mire, or Vidi, in Mire so early, too.
Oh, you're right. We don't have the Ether Medallion, and of course we need a sword to cast a medallion. Oh, look at those Landmo strats. That's your NMG experience right there. Making up for that Armos fight. Beautiful 2-cycle. I'm not going to repeat what our tracker said, but I totally agree.
Sure. No, that was an awesome Landmoless fight. All right, we got our look into the back of Escape. So we've seen the front of it. Nothing of see the back of it, as well as Checkerboard Cave on Oase's side.
Now, this is a place that Zeldafan could access if he's looking for something logical. Only a heart container, so it's not going to throw him on any long fetch quest chain, luckily.
The Zeldafan slowing a bit down and being a bit indecisive, thinking about where could he go, what's accessible, and soon enough might think, did he miss something?
Yeah, hopefully he realizes that, you know what, I cleared that mountain a little too quickly.
Yeah, just mentally going through the spots on the map and seeing, well, on here, I haven't been here, but is going to head over to the desert area. Going to get that Agina check, just as OAC did, and see what we got.
And yeah, I'm not sure if he picked up that shovel from Spiral Cave, if Zeldafan picked up that shovel from Spiral Cave either. I think he might have died on his way through Spiral Cave.
Yeah, I don't actually recall if he finished and got the shovel at the end of Spiral Cave. Alright, but another dense check. In Hype Cave, we got a good start with the boots.
That's
some money,
fantastic.
Some more money and some more money. So, hey, worth it for those boots.
Boots are absolutely worth it. I don't think he'll detour to desert immediately to go grab that sword off the torch. Even though it makes Dash numbly overwhelmed.
Yeah, that sword is probably not going to be top of his mind, because you're going to run into another one somewhere. And if you really don't, and the other swords are in Ganon's tower, then you go for it, maybe.
Yeah, he's going to be back in that area, though, to take care of Meyer eventually. Oh, and he does, Oase remembers that he does have that shovel, so we'll get that check as well after we get a different fetch quest from Stumpy in the form of the mushroom.
Some nice buried treasure in the grove, and Zeldafan headed his way up to the Zora. Does not have the flippers from Floating Island, not being able to go through Hookshot Cave, so can't logically, or Zora Ledge, which today has just a heart piece.
Yeah, this is his last in-logic check before he'll realize that he needs to start rechecking things or attempt the dark rooms of Eastern again.
Oh, that's right. He did make a trip into Eastern and did not complete. Didn't complete the back of it.
Yep, that second dark room in Eastern is really tricky, while the first one is absolutely, like one of the first dark rooms you ever learn. The second one, even when you know that strat to put the arrow in the Igor, it can be a little bit tricky to avoid getting bodied by the other Igor and the Popos.
Absolutely, and if you even let that first one get away from you, you may not find it in the dark, and he may find you instead. We get a cape in the dig game, so would be a good time to go check what's on Bumper Ledge.
Yep. And yep, it's a classic cycling through your flute menu when you can't decide what's left or what you missed.
Yep.
And he is going to go and attempt Eastern again. It's an awful feeling for Zeldafan. I've always been there when you're just staring at your tracker and staring at the map and staring at your inventory.
I think most rando runners have been there at least once. Sometimes when they're just running a seed on their own, and unfortunately sometimes when you're on stream, when you don't feel really good about it. But we're all pulling for him to remember that Paradox Cave has the other 5 chests, and he'll pick up his Moon Pearl and be right back in this.
Okay, Oase actually choosing to do Purple Chest instead of going into and clearing Thieves Town. Probably looking for a sword for Thieves Town?
Yeah, otherwise you're stuck doing Hammer Blind, but I thought he did pick up the Cane of Berna in Paradox Cave, which would really let him cheese the fight. So you could go through Thieves Town.
But I think he's grabbing that sword. Is that the mirror spot? That shows him knowing this game much more than I do.
Yeah, I was expecting a bonk, and if he was maybe a little bit farther north, he would have definitely had a bonk. So, good way to, or good knowledge on him on exactly where he's going to mirror to.
All right, there's that sword. That'll make dashing through Thieves Town much better. So that's a good choice. And even though, you know, Hammer Blind or Burn a Blind are certainly doable, Burn a Blind is very safe. Sword is just faster.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the sword, you get right on script, and just a quick 3 phases and you're done. So we'll get the mushroom check and freeing a bee so you can pick up a potion. And there's that Canis Samaria. So we're looking for just ether, and we've got full Mire access too.
Yeah, I think we're just ether and a fire rod and a sword upgrade. Is that all we need?
We need the fire rod. We don't need the ice rod. We may very well not need the turtle rock medallion. That is it. Those are the only items we need.
And that sword upgrade could very well be inside Ganon's tower. Okay, Zelda fan deciding once again that, you know what, Eastern is doesn't feel good. Gonna go and grab a potion. Or just a heal. Get our single arrow from the brewery. Definitely not what we were expecting as compared to, or hoping for, compared to the 300 rupees that are there in vanilla.
Yeah, quite a big change here. Alright, now we get the Thieves Town play, and as you mentioned, we only have a couple of items we're looking for. 4 quick chests in the front, one of which will be a big key.
And yeah, Zelda fan is doing the rechecks, starting with the out-of-the-way locations, like the Ice Rod Cave. Get her completely unnecessary Quake Medallion in the front of Thieves Town. Let's all just send our rando energy for Zelda fan to flute back to 1 and go back through Paradox Cave.
Yeah, send him your love, send him your thoughts, and your well wishes, and you know he's 10 minutes behind us, so he'll get the message from our collective thoughts here. So we know he's done escape. Might be just going back through, checking Uncle, just retracing all of his steps, and seeing what did he miss. Oh, no, he may do Dark Cross.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That I think that there's an item in Dark Cross. No, it must be the small key, because he's been to the back of Escape. He doesn't have the small key. He's never been to Dark Cross.
I think it very well is the small key.
I'll have to see if Zelda fans' teammates on the long shots, Tyler, Salt, and Diesel Martini, if they're in chat, they can go and send them their energy to their teammate.
So this is another area where, you know, navigating in the dark can be a little bit difficult. He does not have a sword. He's using the hook shot again to, you know, almost be like a bat with sonar. You know, find your way in the dark through where does the hook shot ping off the wall, and picks up the small key out of the chest in Dark Cross. So nothing in the back here.
No, sadly, but he's just, you know, mentally going through. It's like, okay, what's in there? He might go back to Kakariko, because he did go in there without bombs. He might have think that he forgot, you know, the back of Blind's hut or the back of the well. He did go back for those, though. Checking hut, making sure the wall is bombed. How do I know this? Well, I've had to do this many times myself.
Yeah, it's almost a rite of passage for randomizer players. You miss one location and then you're back over the rest of the world. What did I miss? What did I skip?
And I mean, shout outs to ZeldaFan for this. You know, their team is called the Long Shots. Obviously, you know, if you looked up the record of OAC, you know, number 30 on the NMG leaderboard, the 125, could be a little intimidating. I think that this was their first SRL race, so, you know, amazing on them for signing up, being part of this tourney. They were doing really well. They were the first one up the mountain, first to get those Titan's mitts.
Yeah, you got to think, if not for skipping Paradox, he'd be in a really good position. And like you said, you know, has maybe been in the community a little bit, but as a first S being streamed on Speed Gaming, you know, shout outs to him. Go ahead and give him a follow. Give OAC a follow as well. Both of these runners are, you know, putting themselves out there for our entertainment. So go ahead and give them a follow.
I have to say, I was incredibly impressed that ZeldaFan did the Old Man Rescue from the Death Mountain ascent. I find that one a lot trickier because there's more holes to navigate, there's more bats to navigate.
Yeah, a lot of false ways to go in the cave.
The other reason OAC probably wanted a sword was to hammer dash. Cannot hammer dash without a sword.
That's a good point. So we're at the point where we're going to sequence break, and ZeldaFan now sequence breaking, doing fake flippers, is going to check. Not having the Moon Pearl is not going to be able to check the back of Waterfall.
No, and I mean, I think that I'm not sure if there's another Ancilla setup that you can do to get into Waterfall. I think that one just doesn't work, period.
Yeah, it has to do with entering the cave, and I'm not sure of all the details, but I know the cave has something to do with it.
Yeah, and that's the same reason why for some reason Moon Pearl works in there. Or rather, Moon Pearl, while having a fake flipper state, will let you grab the items.
Right.
Curiously, when you're swimming in that cave and you don't have the Moon Pearl and you keep swimming in and out, that's the same reason why a fake flipper won't work in Swamp Palace. So you can set up a fake flipper using Ancilla to get into that first bit of water in Swamp Palace, but then you cannot get out of the water. You are just, Link is eternally swimming against the ladder and just will not jump out.
All right, highlighting the mountain cave on his menu selection.
We are finding nothing but dungeon items and keys in Skull Woods. Oh, there's our first item.
There's our first item. Yeah, the more you find up front, the more chances are that they're both fire rod locked, and you won't be seeing them until you get that.
Well, it looks like one of them is. Or worst case scenario, what's the big key that's fire locked? And ZeldaFan hovering on 5 again. He knows that Eastern is out of logic. That the logic will never expect him to do Eastern without at least the fire rod. And in this case, because we had a vanilla big key, he would need the actual lamp.
All right, the first of our several bonk rock checks up here in the North Light World is just a piece of heart. Guess we can go check Graveyard Lead and then the King's Tomb as well while we're over here.
And that sets up nicely to go and swim over to do Catfish and Pyramid Fairy, and then maybe dive Pod, maybe go into Swamp.
Well,
I mean, I still like the swamp play. Swamp play was something that we could clear as soon as we entered the Dark World.
absolutely. So if you're going to go into any dungeons, you might want to do the ones that you fully and walk away with a crystal. So swamp has got to be on the top of your list. It's got 6 items, one of which may be the ether medallion to get to Mire. So I would follow that chain personally before I go to a pendant dungeon, which may not have anything.
Yep, and in terms of like logic placement, with that ether medallion, it really can be anywhere though. Like that's the horrible thing. I mean, we might find Bombos before we find that ether medallion.
And then, of course, we'd have to go into Turtle Rock, which you may even need the ice rod to, God forbid, have have ether off of Trinex.
Yeah, because the seed logic only places one item at a time, it can set up those awful item trolls where you have to dive into Turtle Rock for something and then go somewhere else for the next thing, and then maybe finally you'll get your ether medallion. Okay, OIC did not do any of the flipper checks, so we'll take a look at Waterfall Cave, and then he'll likely pay off Zora. Oh no, there's that Bombos!
As we were saying.
Now knock on wood, usually Turtle Rock gets locked quickly by lack of Fire Rod. But if we find Fire Rod, then that means that there is one more crystal dungeon that we can clear and one more item that we can get in Skull Woods.
True, and Turtle Rock has been known to be something that a lot of runners will gamble on, just because it's high density, even if it's a pendant, and in this case, so that ups the value even a little bit more.
Okay, this looks like a Swamp Palace play rather than diving into Pendant Pod. 6 items. Full clearable. The one awful thing is that Fighter Sword Argus is not nice.
No, Fighter Sword Argus is not nice at all, but you do have a hammer, which will do tempered sword damage, and as long as you don't mind menuing back and forth, you could use the hookshot hammer strat.
Double
items.
puffs.
You could actually be able to skip left side swamp if that has the map and compass. There is a chance of that happening, so that'd be fortunate.
And you can double pop shot to make it a little bit faster as well. What we don't want to see is any dungeon items. If we can have the big key locked in its own chest and dungeon items on the left side, that would be glorious. But Zeldafan did make it through the dark rooms. And is on the red Igors and is going to be shortly facing the Armos Knights.
On these arrows, and we'll be able to pick up his first crystal after beating this. Still going to need to head to Death Mountain and pick up the Moon Pearl and Paradox Cave, but progress is progress.
is setting up the quick kill for the Armos Knight, so we might get a chance to see that. Oh, almost got it. He just had his arrow timed a little bit faster. Could have got the quick kill on those Armos Knights. And that is the first crystal for Zeldafan.
Yeah, that was actually, reasonably nice Armos.
Anytime you can do it and still have arrows left over, you know you've done it pretty well. Oh, yeah. Oase, remember, oh yeah, I gotta go grab this small key.
Yeah, you want to grab that unless you're planning on maybe going to left side, and you don't want to flood the key. If you don't grab that key from that hookshot spot, then you cannot flood that small key, just because you don't have access to it.
And alright, Zeldafan doing the last possible check they can do, which is that mirror into Desert and Checkerboard Cave. We'll see that there's a sword on Desert Torch.
And there's Ether. So there's our 3 medallions. I would now put off Turtle Rock, looking for that fire rod, and you've got Meyer, Skullwoods, Hera all available to you. Only thing you're missing... No, I'm sorry, you don't have Skullwoods. You are looking just for that fire rod.
And Oase gets trapped by the trick staircases. The game never intended you to go up those stairs.
Such a well-programmed game.
Oh, and Oase is going left side even though he just got the big key. I guess that was because he also got the map in one of those flooded chests. And so he knows that there's going to be an item over here. No, he did not dodge the stair glitch. He paused, I think he was trying to hold right as he was going up the stairs, which is one of the ways to avoid it, but got caught by the stairs anyway. If you dash up the stairs while holding right, you can avoid the stairs trapping you. I believe there's also a way to do it without dashing, but dashing is one of the more consistent ways to do it. I am a little surprised he didn't just open the big chest, because if that's his fire rod, he's done.
Exactly.
He can go right to the back. But
yeah, he went all the way to the back and then came forward to come do left side swamp.
Like, I get checking left side since you did find a dungeon item, but just a little weird. But you know what? I'm not running this game right now. I don't know what's in his head, so I'm sure it makes perfect sense to him. There's one item, pack of 3 bombs.
Here's the other dungeon item. So, not so worth it. We're gonna still get those 2 items here on Argus and the big chest.
As well as the waterfall room.
Alright, back up to the mountain for Zeldafan.
Alright, please go to Paradox. Going the right way.
Yeah, I guess that is the only thing that could do. He did go into Hera already to get that mirror, but yeah, let's just hope and cross your fingers that he's going into Paradox to get that Moon Pearl.
Oh, nice refill from Oase.
All right, taking on Argus with a fighter sword. Gonna do some spin strats.
Getting the double puffs, that saves a little bit of time.
Yeah, always love to see this. Pull one, move a little bit, pull another, and spin. You knock them out in one blow.
That's about the quickest way that you can do the fighter sword Argus. Very useful against hammer Argus as well when you're doing a swordless seed.
And setting up the arrows. Missed him on the first cycle, but pulling out that hammer. And with that funny hitbox, no problem for Oase. Still getting a few hits.
Alright, Fire Rod is not in Swamp Palace, and we're sad to say that unfortunately Zeldafan did choose to forfeit. Apparently they're also having some hand issues, and I can absolutely relate to that. I have a great difficulty in playing this game for a long time, especially when you start to get frustrated and you know that you lost something. But get a GG for Zeldafan. They showed some incredible skill at this game. They weren't following the logic, and it is just really difficult when you skip that cave. And you can skip any one of these caves. They all look alike on the overworld.
Yeah, definitely, GG to Zeldafan, putting themselves out there, and definitely showed quite a bit of, game knowledge. Not being that familiar with Zeldafan, was not sure what to expect, but we did see, fairly good routing. We did see some glitches and some sequence breaks that were pulled off. So it's really good to see the community grow and people get involved in this game on a regular basis and see new faces all the time.
Exactly. This league had started out last year with only 16 teams. It quadrupled to 64 this year. 192 runners. The tournament only had 128 in brackets. So, I mean, it's huge. We get to see all of these new runners. They're showing off new skills, new showcases. I think it's great. There's always been discussion that, sometimes runs are starting to get samey because we have the same people running and they have the same habits. So it's nice to see people making different decisions, taking different gambles. It's really healthy.
And it's nice to see, new modes being added all the time. We've got things like, oh, hang on, let me hold that thought.
Yeah, well, Oase was going for... Go ahead.
I was just going to say a little bit of showmanship on that hover. Would have been really neat to see that happen. But anyway, yeah, getting new modes. We've got mystery. There's cross keys. There's a mode that was kind of fan produced called Ambrosia, which 6 months ago no one had even considered. So there's a lot of variety that's happening in this community.
Absolutely, and just a small remark about Oasis hover. Don't ever feel bad about if you're trying to hover and you get bad, especially that particular hover. That one is one of the most difficult hovers in the game. People joke about like hovering to Trinex. I would say that pod hover is one of the more difficult ones, just because you have to be at a perfect X coordinate to clip through that railing.
Yeah, hovering in general is not an easy trick to pull off, and doing it in certain areas like that, especially when you have to change directions, just it's a whole different ballpark. But we do have a question in chat about modes. So we're in week 1 of 7 on the league. Week 1, of course, being open 7-7, just kind of a stock seed. Week 2, starting on Monday, is going to be Ambrosia. So Ambrosia, as I mentioned, kind of a fan-produced, fan-conceived mode. You start with a sword. Uncle will give you a boots hint, and there is a guaranteed item, a non-dungeon item, on every boss. So it changes a little bit of how you're... I don't have the schedule in front of me. Coming up in weeks 3 and 4, maybe.
I do have that. So as OAC pulls off the Hammer Young, which is more of that lovely NMG tech, week 3 is Randomizer. I believe that is, I'm not sure what type of flavor of boss Randomizer is going to be on there, but Randomizer is always a fun thing. I don't think that they will have Chaos Damage Shuffle. I think they'll just have regular Damage Shuffle. Week 4 is a mystery seed where not even the commentators will know what's going on. We'll have to learn along with the runners to find out if it's key sanity or a ped seed or reduced crystals.
Yeah, there's actually some different weights specifically for League. So most modes will be available, and I think some modes just are set at 0. And I think it goes a little easy on you, removing things like expert and only giving you maybe a 5% chance of hard. So it's still friendly to newer runners.
Exactly. Then week 5 is my personal favorite, which is cross keys, which means it's an entrance shuffle, where connectors can go from light world to dark world or vice versa, combined with key sanity. I just particularly like that because it's really fun to root out the logic for that. And one of the tournament admins, Duke Firebird, saying that Randomizer week is enemy shuffle with full boss shuffle. That means that you're not going to get, 6 Trinexes. You will get 2 Landmos, 2 Armoses, 2 Moldworms, and 1 each of the Dark World bosses. But they can be anywhere, so look out for that. You can still get Trinex on ice if Trinex gets shuffled into the Ice Armos location.
And so we do have 2 more weeks. Week 6 is going to be an interesting key sanity. It's actually a spoiler key sanity where you're running in pairs. One will be the runner, and the other teammate will be a pilot who has access to the spoiler log, and you kind of route the seed together. That's a fun one to play, and it's a little the pilot, right? Making sure you've got a good route, making sure you've got maybe enough equipment for your teammate to go through and not maybe put them in a stressful situation.
Yeah, I'm looking for that too. Most spoiler log races usually involve the runners getting the spoiler log ahead of time. However, for this one, since you've got the co-pilot reading it and routing, there's not going to be that. So they're going to be routing on the fly. And yeah, just shout out that OAC was trying to show off the boomerang strats or the bomb drop, jump, and dash in that original peg room. Then for final week of League in week 7, we've got a co-op all dungeons where you're going to have the 2 runners sharing information in a Discord call, and you've got to complete all dungeons in the seed. That's all pendants, all crystals, and you got to defeat both AGA 1 and AGA 2.
I'm really looking forward to these co-op weeks. Very clean fight from OAC on Helmasaur.
Those hammers,
sword, no less.
Yeah, those hammer strats were amazing, but no fire rod to be seen.
So he has full access to Tower of Hera and Misery Mire. I'd imagine he'd love to save Tower of Hera and go straight into Ganon's Tower. Their item, maybe it's the fire rod up in Tower of Hera, but he doesn't have access to Misery Mire. Looks like he's fluting to 6 right now, and we'll see Mire.
Mire makes sense. It's the other 5/6 crystal. It's full clearable. But no, he's changing his mind. Okay, he's changing his mind. I'm not sure. Or no, I see what he was doing. He's setting up Spooky. He didn't get his bird coordinate right.
Yes. So he does have to do a little bit of setup in order to get the spooky glitch. Booting away to 4. Not sure where he's headed right now, though.
Lacey, what are you doing? What you doing, buddy?
I mean, hasn't checked the pyramid, but you would imagine he could check pyramid with the 5/6 crystal.
Yeah, you don't have the... Oh, I wonder if this was a... mismark?
May have already thought that he had the 5/6 crystals.
Okay, well, he's going up to check pyramid now anyway. I mean, if it's the fire rod, then that means that you can potentially save a little bit of time in Misery Mire. Mire's one of those weird crystals that it usually doesn't save a whole lot of time in go mode.
Alright, here comes the mirror and probably the flute back to 6. Has
Nope.
to... You're juking me, Oase.
I guess figures while he's here, hey, let's go do escape.
Yeah.
That's not a bad combo. You know, when you realize that you've got both pyramid and escape left on your map, they combo well together with the mirror. Yeah, for those of you just joining us, Zeldafan had some great routing early. Sequence broke up the mountain with the glove and rescued, but even though they had the early flute, went over, got their Titan Smiths, and what else was over in, there was a shovel, went over to Hera, got their mirror, but unfortunately missed the top of Paradox Cave where their moon pearl is. Had checked everything else available in logic and out, and I think they were just about to go back, but you know what? They're probably feeling a little bit frustrated, had a bit of a hand injury, and decided to call it a night. But they showed some amazing strats, you know, rescuing the old man from the Death Mountain ascent. Almost pulled off the quick kill on Trinex, showing some really great execution.
And on Oase's side, we're just a fire rod away from go mode. Checking all the other places, even though it has access to Hera and Misery Mire. Nothing in escape. Go ahead.
I was pretty sure he checked the back of escape. Doesn't he know that this is a small key?
I can't recall. But yeah, it is a small key.
I guess if he continues walking, we know that he didn't check the back of escape yet.
Right, Zeldafan did. Zeldafan did, fairly early. Oase must not have.
Anyway, we gave a shout out to Zeldafan's teammates on the long shots of Tyler Salt and Deezer Maltini. Also, let's give a shout outs to Oase's teammates on 2 Pearl 2 Furious, which are Trinex and Scary Olive. Trinex was responsible for the first 3 points that 2 Pearl 2 Furious got this week in the Game 1 matchup, beating Tyler Salt by just a mere 6 minutes. Next week, 2 Pearl 2 Furious are going to meet the 16-bit nerds in the Ambrosia Seed. One of those matches is scheduled. Scary Olive is going to face Drunk's future self.
Now, I think that's actually Two Pearl, Two Furious is facing third strongest mole.
Oh,
And
you're
long
right.
shots will be long shots, which is Zeldafan's team will face 16.
You're right. I had my notes copy pasted wrong. But regardless, then on for the long shots, their first scheduled match for Ambrosia Week will be Diesel Martini versus Flip Heel.
This is one thing I really want to ask Oase at the end of this is he's got full access to Meyer, but is very hesitant to go in it. It may be a bit too low percent. There's low percent and then there's super low percent, especially for Vitreous. Fighter Sword Vitreous is terrible.
Agreed. Fighter Sword Ice Palace is also pretty terrible. Although with Bombos and Half Magic, maybe not so much. But I mean, Bombos is our only option.
Right, if we had Fire Rod, we wouldn't even be in here.
Exactly.
A little early on that Bombos, did not let the Freezor escape from the wall, but gets it on the second try.
I just am not sure about why Oase wouldn't even go into Meyer with all those chests at the front. You're pretty likely to get at least one of the items in the front, and it really doesn't waste that much time to get your big key and go out.
Question in chat. So, Zeldafan did forfeit, and Oase will need to finish out the seed, do a done when he crosses the Ganon Bridge, and otherwise the win does not count. And I think it concludes with a tie, but regardless, yes, he would need to finish in order for it to count as a win.
Oase showing off the nice double Stalfos kill by setting up that bomb.
Saving one bomb in that room for the bomb jump, which I don't suspect he'll have much trouble with, but you never want to just give away bombs.
Doing it without sword spin. What very nice. That's a little bit of a swaggy move. I would say that's even swaggier than hovering that gap.
Yeah, it's very precise, and the sword will let you buffer a little bit of that location, but without it, you really got to know where to stand rather. All right, further into the dungeon, gonna go to the hookshot locked side and hit the spike chests from that side rather than go around to the Freezor room. And there's the fire rod. Oh, well, on the plus side, good thing he went into Ice Palace. On the minus side, he doesn't feel so good about ashes, but is in go mode at about 113.20.
At least he avoided the double dip mire. Or, I guess it wouldn't have been the double dip mire.
It would not have been a double dip mire, but it would still be a little harder, you know. But in Go mode, still in that low percent as far as offense goes. Fighter Sword, just the regular arrows, silver arrows would be great to find in here for him to take on Vitreous.
And all we know, there could be another sword right here in Mire.
That's right, 2 items. You just wonder, how confident is he that he'll find maybe in Ganon's tower at least one sword? So, you know, how much of a go mode is he going to do until he finds that second sword? We'll see.
That's a really tough question.
Right.
We know there's another 3 swords out there somewhere. It's not like anything crazy can happen, like 2 of them are locked on tablets and the 3rd one's on the pedestal.
I was actually going to go with 2 on the tablets and 1 on the Moldorm chest.
That could work too, but I mean, you know, the Moldorm chest is a Hail Mary, and I'm sure that Oase, even though, oh no, and it was a Godmire too. Rude.
He's in full-on Go mode, though.
Well, other than a sword.
What I mean by that is he's not wasting time searching for a sword in Mire.
Fair, yeah. He'll do that in Ganon's tower.
Right. And I did not see if on his return he set up Spooky, but did not do another puff, I think, when he laid down the Samaria block, so I don't think we'll see Spooky. No.
Nope. Oh, maybe, because, yeah, he did, because he never had to hit the other crystal switch.
Yep, and hitting the torch with the fire rod gets that last switch. It's such a funny glitch to see.
Alright, going for some fighter sword spins. Just diving right into that goo.
Yeah, you'll take the 1 hit of damage from that goo rather than the, 4+ hearts of damage from each eyeball. So better to just kind of tank that if you can, or pull out the cape.
You know what, cape is a great idea. I think he probably should have done that before drinking his blue goo, just to drain his magic first.
Yeah, because he's running out of magic just as that last eyeball drops. One more big eye. He's going to take it out with the arrows, too.
And there we go. Crystal number 5. Not even lucky enough to pick up 1 item in Mire.
No, but we still have 1 in Hera, 1 in Skullwoods, and then, of course, all of Ganon's Tower to go through. And the way I suspect he'll route it is Skullwoods, Hera, and then a mirror over to GT. So we're going to have to be quick on the draw for this big key guessing game.
Yeah, with Hera, it's one of the dreams that you have as your final crystal dungeon.
Sometimes dreams come true.
Now we know that the big key is in Hera basement. I'm assuming OAC knows Hera pot. Do you think he would do that, or is he going to take the time to get the big key and check the big chest?
I would suspect if he knows it, he'll do it, because it would save a lot of time. Not only, say you even had the big key at the start, going up a few floors, it saves a bit of time, but it saves that whole coffee break tile room section. So, just go ahead and do it. It'll save you 60 seconds.
And reminder that he was in Tower of Hera earlier. Our mirror was the first item in Tower of Hera. He checked then the map chest, saw the small key, and noped out. He did have the ability to do Hera pot right then and there.
I think at that time there was too much on the table for him to miss, and if there was something in that big chest, that would be bad on his side, and he'd be scrambling to find that missing item. Right, but taking on Mothula with mostly the fire rod, pushing him into and negating a little damage. Just knocking him out with the fighter sword.
Nicely done. I don't imagine that he's going to go and look for that other item in Skullwoods. No, it would take
too much time, and while he has the luxury of time, you still want to practice your routing, practice efficiency, and I guess really a good way to do that is stay in low percent. Do Gannis Tower with the fighter sword as much as you can. I'm just joshing here. But I mean, it still is a speed run. It's not a take your time run.
Alright, heading over to the Turtle Rock portal. It's always a nice feeling when you never even have to enter Turtle Rock. Now, I know if this portal is open, and you get ideal dead rock replacement, but we are joined here by zeldafan18657. GG, Zelda we're really feel awful about what happened earlier. We're wondering how you're feeling about it. It looks like you're muted right now. You might just need to unmute your microphone in Discord. There's the little microphone icon.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect, wonderful. GG's. You really played fantastically. Huge shout outs for, sticking with it when... do you realize what happened?
Yeah, my hand was starting to bother me. It was a prior injury that I had 2 years ago.
We're not sure. Did you find out where your Moon Pearl was?
I got really stumped.
So you were the first of our runners to go up to Death Mountain. So you did that nice, you had the flute early, you rescued Old Man.
Yep.
We've got some time while OAC goes and does a Hera pot, does a pot dance. The other Hera pot. And you skip the top of Paradox Cave with the 5 chests.
Did I? Okay, yeah, I must have.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, so we saw it when you unfortunately had to quit because of the hand injury. We saw you walking towards Death Mountain. We were like, oh, good, he's finally going back to Paradox Cave. But yeah, we just really want to say, like, thank you so much for playing and for signing up. You showed some amazing, really good Armos fight, persisting through the dark rooms there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that we were, pleasantly surprised to see, or pleased to see. You did some sequence breaking. You did the old man ascent in the dark, which is not maybe the preferred way to do it. So it's more difficult. And shout out to doing that. And I don't think I've seen you race before, so I was mentioning it's always great to see newer faces in the community. Especially joining something like League. So, congrats to doing that and putting yourself out there on SRL for us.
Hey, no problem.
And yeah,
this is a game I remember back, when it first came out. I was like maybe about 10 years old. So it's a game that I definitely enjoyed playing when I was young.
well, we're looking forward to seeing you on some other weeks of League play. Do you have any other ideas which weeks you might be playing a randomizer in here?
I should be doing the next week when you guys start doing the standard. So I gotta find my opponent during that time. And then there's gonna be week 5 or 6 during the cross keys, which is something I definitely gonna need to do a lot of practice on because I've never done that before.
Well, you know what? With the skills that you shown here, one thing with cross keys is that it really favors dark rooms and knowing your sequence breaks, and I think that you'll do a great job with that. So, take care of your hand. We're going to be looking forward to seeing you in future weeks. If you want to hang out here and watch the rest of Oase's run, you're welcome to hang out with us.
Oh, sure. I'm more than welcome to join you guys.
All right, so we are into Ganon's Tower. We had a little bit of a big key game. We're gonna stop it here just as he's opening up these 2 chests, looking for that Ganon's Tower big key that lets us climb up.
So what's going to be your guess on that one?
I like to go for 15 usually, which usually works out to the vanilla big key location. How about you, Lumbaga and Zelda fan?
Mine is usually 5.
So I like it early. I usually choose 8 or below, but today I went for 9, just because it never works out for me.
All right, well, we saw the book early, which leads us to, maybe that thing of where our other swords could be. Looking for those swords that are required. We do need 1 more to defeat Ganon. So we've got 4 through 6 here in the compass room. Bugged it, but no sign of the big key or a sword. So yeah, we've got a side game here that we've got where the big key is and look to see and guess where that other sword might be hiding. We had that one that was on Desert Ledge, and we have seen neither hide nor hair of the other one. Not sure if you've been watching the rest of the race, Zelda fan.
I'm starting to now. But yeah, one thing that surprised me, if I'm correct, there was a sword that I saw on the torch in Desert. Was I right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yep, there is a torch there is a sword on the torch, and that is the one that Oase did get. So, still searching for another. Has only had the fighter sword through this.
Ooh, the silvers.
Silvers are nice.
Silvers are nice. A very nice find, especially if we're only going to be on that Master Sword. It means that last 4th phase of Ganon will be a little bit shorter. Rather than 24 spins, it'll only be 4.
Yeah, I was saying my thoughts exactly right there.
Alright, Oase showing us some more NMG strats with the bloomerang.
You know,
Remember to pick up a key.
people talk about best boomerang, worst boomerang, but you know, both boomerangs have some value, and you're seeing the blue one right there.
Yeah, they usually say that the red boomerang is laggy. At times it causes lag.
Yeah, any of the sparkle effects in the games kind of cause a little bit of lag, but you know what? I find it's worth it to have that little extra distance, and of course we've got lovely Ancilla deletion now that with those sparkles. Okay,
Right,
we've got...
I think that was number 10.
That was... nope, because he checked the compass room. So that was 14.
True. Okay, so there we go, 14. Congratulations to...
Hey, Spyweaver!
Spyweaver.
But Oase is going to continue looking through here, looking for a sword. Maybe there'll be one in the big chest, or Bob's chest, or behind Ice Armos.
Yeah, how often do you see the big chest?
Not very often.
And looks like we're still in search of a sword.
You get a nice refill, though.
Oh, yeah. Good timing.
So, if you don't find it in these next 4 chests, do you do tile room? Do you mirror and check the... Well, I guess it's not really any point to check the Ether Tablet because you'll need to get a Master Sword anyway.
Right. Yeah, that would be quite a tease if you know that there's a sword on there, but you can't get it. But there's always Turtle Rock, you know, just down the road. And that's got 5 chests in it.
5 chests, plus it's a green pendant, plus to get Mimic Cave.
True. So there's a lot of value there, but he is not going to worry about finding a sword in tile room or any of the other off-the-wall places we can guess about. Going straight up the gauntlet.
Okay. I mean, there are 4 chests at the top of the tower where a sword can be in, and we have seen many a Hail Mary sword in either the pre-Moldorm chest or the Moldorm 2.
You gotta say either pre-Moldorm or post-Moldorm.
But nice work taking care of the red mimics about to go enter the gauntlet. Fighter Sword is probably a little bit less than what Oase is used to doing the gauntlet with, but I'll hope to see some really excellent execution in this.
Well, half magic and a fire rod plus silvers, you do have, you know, some ways to make these rooms go a bit faster, even with Fighter Sword.
Oase having, you know, determined to do sword swings for these, even though it looks like pots are the better, better strat.
Yeah, my normal thing that I usually do is I usually use Ether.
Ether's my favorite. You know, it's fast. It kills the Gibdos and the Stalfos. Bombos is a good second choice.
Yeah, yeah, Bombos is a good second choice, but it takes a little while, you know, to take effect until they clear.
All right. Oase through Gauntlet 5, combination of silvers and fire rod, onto Land Molus 2.
And we saw one beautiful Land Molus earlier with the arrows, and the silver arrows showed us another beautiful Land Molus fight.
Got the nice 1 cycle on that. Oh, not even going to use Kate of Samaria.
Maybe just didn't switch to it, or who knows? Could have been a little bit of swag, but gets through it, no problem.
You know what? The fun thing about Randomizer is that you're not always guaranteed to need the Cane of Samaria. So it's nice to know the backup strats for those Wizaro rooms in case you don't have.
True.
You can always get to that seed where both Mire and Turtle Rock are pendants, and there's nothing in the right side of Ganon's Tower. Ice Palace isn't Samaria locked.
Alright, one more room to the mini Helma where there will be 2 chests. Will one of them have a sword?
I know Oase is hoping so. Are you guys hoping so?
I would love to see one, but we get a compass and a fire shield, so still 2 more left in the tower.
Is not powdering the anti-fairy.
Yeah, with 2.5 hearts, kind of a bold move, but well, and I don't know what his potion stock or fairy stock is at this point.
I don't believe he's refilled. He's got a lot of rupees left over right now.
Okay, so no sword heading in, no second sword heading into Aga 2. Let's get your guesses in on where he's going to go for this. Chat, what do you think? Mind of me, what do you think? Because I'm thinking Turtle Rock at this point.
I'm feeling Turtle Rock too. Let's say at Turtle Rock, it's going to be in the vanilla big key chest. That's where our Master Sword's going to be.
Ooh, he's got to be real careful. Took a hit from Aga 2's orange ball there.
It gets a triple on the second phase.
Nice.
Let's see, what else haven't we seen? We didn't see Pyramid.
No, we did,
Fairy.
because... Oh, that's right. Pyramid Fair we don't have. We have the rest of Ice Palace. We have Spike Cave.
We did find the book, so we could at least check tablets, but of course not going to be there, or not going to be accessible. He's done all of Swamp.
Yeah, I can't...
He
we
never
do
did Old
have
Man.
Smith Chest.
Did he?
No, he never did Old Man, because he used the flute and then never did the Dark Room Sequence Break, because he knew he had all the rest of East Death Mountain and Hera to clear. We have checked Mushroom.
Yeah, Mushroom, I believe, was Arcane.
Powder is a fetch quest that we got in Ganon's Tower that could be a sword. Something sharp and pointy, but not the sword we're looking for on the old man. So this looks like it'll be Spike Cave. Or no? Making a liar out of me, he's going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah,
Betting on the density.
Yeah, Turtle Rock, and then, you know, who knows how far he's going to go down in Turtle Rock. He may go as far as Chain Chomps. He may go as far as the Big Key, Vanilla Big Key chest, or all the way to Laser Bridge. Who knows? But there's got to be something up here.
7 available items in Turtle Rock, combined with the dungeon itself, the Green Pendant, and Mimic Cave. Yeah, the odds are there, but there are definitely enough other spots.
It's how much time do you really, really want to spend in Turtle Rock and come up empty? Because there's a chance he could come up empty on all of these.
Yep. I'm trying to think. So I believe that there's 2 more items in Ice Palace. There's the pedestal item. There's, potentially 2 locked on tablets that we'll never have access to. And Spike Cave, as well as Tile Room.
Showing a bit of anger here as he's riding on the block, just lamenting he does not have a greater sword.
Early big key. Not necessarily what we're looking for. If we actually had to clear Turtle Rock, that'd be something new.
I mean, it could be, as far as green pendant, I mean, if you really wanted to be evil about it, you could say, well, you need that green pendant, and you also need the cold stare pendant for pedestal, but let's not go there just yet.
We get a mirror shield, not what he's looking for.
No, we want offense, not defense. So further into the dungeon he'll go. We do have a key and the big key, so I believe chain chomp is going to have to be a key, and we could find something in the lava chest.
Yep. Okay, Chomps. What have you got?
This is a key.
I was saying, you know, it's like, what have you got? And like, taunting him, you know? I was like, what do you got?
Show me what you got. Alright, so we've got the lava chest, and I guess Mimic Cave, the big chest, onto Laser Bridge, maybe Trinex if we have to go down there.
Comment in chat if we could turn on swordless rules and just do a hammer again. And he's got silvers for the 4th phase. That makes it nice and easy.
Yeah, just tenderize the meat, hidden Ganon with that hammer, but just a key in the lava chest. So further and further we go.
Good old key for a key.
And for me, I've done swordless at least a few times. It's a challenge, but it's fun.
Oh, have you thought about maybe doing the mystery week for your team then? Because swordless is one of the options that could come up in there.
Oh, we'll have to see. Hopefully things go well, especially because since I'm taking care of my grandparents who are in their 80s.
Oh, yeah, that's an absolutely full-time job. Not checking. Oh, I guess he's gonna check the big chest first. Hopefully, there's a sword there that he can save a little bit of time.
Hopefully he'll also check Mimic Cave.
This is what I normally see runners do: is if they're one item from Go mode, they'll check that big chest before checking Mimic Cave.
And he tried to set up that chest turn on the big chest, didn't quite get it. I don't know if chat saw that, and maybe his teammates are gonna call him out on it.
Well, nothing in Mimic Cave, so Laser Bridge is our next best bet. Maybe Crystal Roller Room could be, because we still have a small key.
Yes. And this would be the seed where we get, you know, a key in Crystal Roller Room and would theoretically get to skip Laser Bridge for a key if we had to do Turtle Rock for a crystal.
What a convenient ice rod. Looks like you're trying to do tricks. Would you like an ice rod?
Clippy, please don't make the seed.
I did not check. Do we know how long precisely Oasis has been in sword mode, having beaten Aga 2 and gone into Turtle Rock? I think it's been I don't know, 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, about that. I mean, theoretically, he's been in sword mode since he got that fire rod in Ice Palace.
That's fair.
And can we just say again, you know, speaking of rando memes, fire rod behind Bombos in Ice Palace?
Gotta be so careful here. Low on magic. Oh, the fall!
Oh! No! He's gonna start back at the big chest.
He is, because he did not get a chance to go to the safety door and has the one chest in Laser Bridge left to check.
Okay. This should be fairly nice and quick. And you know what? I totally get that he just wants to find the sword and be done with the seed, because I'm sure otherwise he would have absolutely ran to the bottom and grabbed the safety door.
Right. Yeah, a lot of runners will do that before checking Laser Bridge, just for those kind of instances where you get knocked off, or you fall off, or hit with a laser.
It's also a nice way to get rid of that hard hat beetle that loves to knock you off the ledge or knock you into the lasers.
Careful, OAC.
Like that.
Like I have to admit, I had my fair share of that happening to me.
Alright, the last item is on Trinex. Is this going to be a sword? Or is our green pendant a sword? Or do we have to go elsewhere?
Well, let's get through Trinex first. This is Fighter Sword Trinex.
Oh,
You know, you think Master Sword Trinex is hard. Look at this one.
at least does have half magic. We might see I think he's going to go straight for hammer strats, though.
Yeah, if you can... Well, it looks like he's dashing to the back. He's going to try and get a quick kill for Trinex.
This is really impressive to see, and is very cool. Like, shout out to OAC for doing that. I think is not even going to bother with the hammer for the ice head. Just kill it with the fire rod.
Yep, ice head goes down, just melts with that fire rod. Oh, not yet.
He even had time to hammer it, you know, rather than drinking his potion, but was still like, no, I am gonna take care of this turtle. Melt that ice head.
Oh no!
He didn't grab the safety door again.
No, he didn't.
Oh,
Mm.
like my stomach just hurt. Like I'm just hurts physically to see that.
Yeah, just ricocheted right into those spikes.
Alright, if he was rage slashing on the platforms before, how do you think it feels now?
And down one bottle, having used it.
He's got. I think he has Bugnet. I'm sure we saw Bugnet earlier. And I think I still saw a blue potion in his inventory. He used the green potion to take care of that ice head. Anti-fairies, please!
Alright, second attempt. Straight to the back.
I think he's probably just gonna go for hammer strats on the ice head this time. No sense wasting all his magic again.
Well, You stand corrected.
I stand 100% corrected.
Alright, still doing okay on health and with red mail, so can afford one hit maybe.
He does have that blue potion. Yeah.
Alright, no longer messing around. Takes the hammer.
One more hit should do it.
Alright, is this our sword?
Please be a sword.
Just one. It's not.
Seed,
Okay.
please, come on, give us a break already.
I mean, at this point, you know, Zelda fans watching this and saying, you know, it could have been worse. I could have had to do all of this too.
So where would you be looking for a sword, Zelda fan? Would you just turn in the green pendant, or would you go back into Ice Palace?
Well, I would most likely go see Shalarsh there, see if he's got it. And then,
All right.
because I mean, you got the green pendant. Why not go for it?
So then the other question I would ask you is, when you were in Ganon's tower and you still had the tile room left, would have you checked tile room?
I would have checked Tile Room last.
Okay, so you would have done the Turtle Rock clear and turned in the green pendant before you went to tile room, or would have you checked tile room before climbing?
I would have checked the Tile Room first before I go to Turtle Rock.
Oh, okay. Did he? Oh, he's going back for the 2 items in Mire.
He is, because Sahasrara had a heart, so, you know, much love from the old man, but we could have used something else. Give us a sword. Give us something, man. I'm tilted in angsty for OAC here. I can't imagine how he's feeling.
Oh, for sure. Like, come on, I'm sure his item count is getting up to like the 200s at this point, and you've still only found 1 sword. 2 items in Mire, 2 in Ice Palace, the 2 tablets and the pedestal, Spike Cave and Tile Room.
Mm-hmm.
That's just 9 items left.
Now, didn't you say something about pedestal and tablets?
I did say something about pedestal and tablets, and I'm regretting every second that I said that. I'm regretting even thinking it.
Yes, I did a. Oase, did he do a ped check?
No,
He
we've
has
not seen a
not.
pedestal check yet.
The book was in Ganon's tower, so he's been in sword mode ever since then.
Okay.
There's going to be a sword and cutscene chest, isn't there?
I
Like,
hope
just
so.
to be extra obnoxious, because he's going to go over and check the big chest and the spike chest, and then there's not going to be a sword there. Yeah, there's the spike chest, and he's going to go over to big chest now, and there's not going to be a sword there. Oh, he's not checking big chest. Okay. Well, now it's going to be in the big chest because you changed your routing.
It's going to be in the last chest he opens. Let's just call it that.
I mean, there's always the joke that, you know, it's always in the last place you look, but it really is now. Seed is out to get him. Oh, and I'm being reminded in chat that he already checked the big chest. I'm sorry, this...
Well, if it's not here,
This is the seed.
then I don't know. You finish Ice Palace? There we go.
Yep, there we go. 153.46. He gets his Master Sword. My co-com Lumaga had pointed out that he had his Aga 2 kill at 135.55. Almost 20 minutes of looking for a sword. 20 minutes!
Yeah, I went back to check the VOD just to see how bad this was, and that's an awful sword mode. He cleared all of Turtle Rock, went back to Mire, had to get it in the last chest he checked in Mire. I'm not sure where he was going to go to next if that was, a useless item.
Zelda fan, if you ever feel up to, going back and finishing the seed in your spare time, you'll have to tell us where the other swords are. See if there's one in that tile room.
Oh, sure, no problem. I'll do a stream of it. Then I'll find out where the rest of them were at.
There you go. That's a nice follow. But once again, please follow both of our runners. ! R in fact, Oase and zeldafan18657. They had to go through quite an ordeal tonight for different reasons. They'll be running in various races over the tournament. In the league, every team member has to compete in at least 4 races. And we're going to be treated to a nice Master Sword Ganon.
Master Sword plus silvers, so as long as we can easily execute the first 2 phases, 3 won't be so bad, and 4 will be a piece of cake. Wouldn't that be something, though? Your sword is in tile room, and that's one of the few in Ganon's tower you abandoned.
But yeah, again, he's very proficient in MG runner. This is muscle memory for him, getting the nice position, using the hook strats to avoid the fire bat.
Yep. On to phase 3.
We'll see how the teleport patterns play out.
Yeah.
Oh, Ganon, please. This has gone on long enough.
Yeah.
Going for Torch Glitch. Is he just gonna do silverless strats for the heck?
I was actually saying that too. He's got the silvers, but he's doing the silverless.
I think at this point he just wants to prove to himself that, you know what, this seed didn't beat me, I beat it.
That's a great way to put it. You show that seed who's boss.
Yeah, he's just racking up some extra fantasy points for his team, getting that silverless kill on Ganon.
That's true. I think that's canceled out by the massive collection rate he's going to have, though.
True, but you know what? He's got very good boots movement. I did not see, he was very careful not to do any rage bonks.
True. Yeah, only bonked when necessary. Yeah, so if you're following the fantasy leagues, there's several that have sprung up to follow the runners in the league. A couple different ways that are scored, and well, silverless Ganon, as we see OAC do, will score you some points. So just got to cross that last 1x3 bridge, and we are done with this seed. And I'm sure OAC was done with this seed half an hour ago.
GG. He got the dash across the bridge. And he finishes with an official SRL time of 1:58.32. B Torp, were you responsible for this seed? He got the sub 2. He had a quick chat with him. He does not want to come in for an interview. I can't say I blame him. This was an ordeal. 20 minutes searching for a sword.
Yep, can't blame him. It is late, so it's past 11 on the East Coast, and after that, you just kind of want to be done with the seed. But you can imagine some of his thoughts. But GG to him, GG to our other runner, Zelda Fan, who despite the difficulty and the hand injury, I'm excited to see what comes out of you and the rest of the rest of your team in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. I asked Oase if there's anything that we wanted to pass on to stream. He passes on his GGs to Zelda Fan, and his one and only quote is, "I hate Rando." And you know what? Be sure to follow both of our runners. Be sure to give our tracker Philion a follow. He is also in the tournament, in the league, as well as my co-com Lumaga. I believe you have a race next week, Lumaga. You're running one of the Ambrosia seeds for your team?
I will be one of our two runners. Zyla will be the other one. And I believe we're facing Will Pulphead for food. Zelda, are you aware who your team is facing next week? We mentioned it at the top of the run, but can you remind us?
Let me check really quick for you guys. Let's see.
I believe you're facing 16-bit nerds.
That sounds familiar. You ever done Ambrosia,
okay.
Zelda Fan?
No, but my other two mates are going to be doing Ambrosia next week. They're 8-bit Vandals. They're facing for the Ambrosia. And next week I will be doing the Randomizer for the week 3.
Awesome stuff.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that's going to be against Pug Trio. That's going to be quite the week there.
Yep, and then week 4 we have Mystery with it's going to be me. I'll be facing someone for the Mystery Seed for Clown Parade. Then we have Cross Keys in week 5, which is third strongest mole. Then we have the week 6 with the spoiler with Pilot. Then week 7 is the co-op, which we're going to be facing the Immortals.
Yeah, and then for 2 Pearl, 2 Furious, they're going to go through the same set of settings. Next week, their Ambrosia is going to be against third strongest mole. Then for Randomizer, they're against the Wu-Tang Clan. Mystery Seeds will be the Immortals. Cross Keys is Clown Parade. The co-op spoiler Pilot is Pug Trio, and they'll finish off week 7 their co-op all dungeons against the 16-bit nerds. And there was not a sword on the pedestal. Thank goodness.
I was waiting for it to be a sword, but just couch it. As for the rest of round 1, week 1 rather, we still have 3 matches tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, you had an early one at 8:40. Reheated Leftovers versus Feline Paralysis. That's Top Life versus Ursula 4115. That'll be on Speed Gaming. There's at 10:10 A Link to the West Coast featuring Zeitnix versus Magic Lamp Oil with Kainup running. That's on Speed Gaming 2. And the afternoon game, 2:10 on Speed Gaming 3, Old Swagga Jackson versus the Cool Rush Gamers. We've got Magnificent and Cool Papa Bell 2282 going to represent their teams. So not done just yet.
That will wrap up week 1 and the end of the open seeds, as we mentioned. The standard variation Ambrosia is going to start Monday morning, early things. There's already matches scheduled for their teams. Again, 64 teams. Each team plays twice a week, 64 matches. there's a lot to go on. We're going to try to rebroadcast them all, but if we can't, the best way to see it is to follow all the runners. Following them is free. The runners appreciate it, and you'll never run out of things to watch. Be sure to follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, not only for League action, but lots of other things. We've got Mega Man 9 going on, Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer, as well as their Challenge Cup Area of Sorrow Randomizer, and the upcoming Bite the Bullet race for the world record. That's going to be a new game coming out, and excited to see what happens with that. If you want to make sure you see all the League restream action, be sure to also follow the ALTTPR League as well as their other channels 2 through 4. Any last words before we sign off, Zelda fan?
No, I'd just like to thank everyone, for stopping by here at Speed Gaming and, watching us race. And we definitely have a lot of fun.
We're very glad to hear it. All right, I am going to sign off. Be sure to take care of one another, and I will leave the last word to you, Lumaga.
That was a great race from Oase. Looking forward to long shots in week 2 and beyond, and looking forward to seeing as many League matches as I can. As we mentioned, it just gets better and better every week.
All right. Take care of each other, everybody. And a reminder for those of us living in North America that daylight savings gets triggered on this morning at 2 a.m. of your local time, springing forward. Those of us lucky enough to be in other time zones may get to avoid that, but yes, if you're, I'm being corrected by our tracker. It is saving. Yes, of course. Unless you live in Saskatchewan and Arizona, then you get to keep your clocks as is.
Must be nice.
Yeah, some places don't quite celebrate daylight saving time.
All right. Take care of each other, everybody. See you next time.